Success is within your reach, and the only thing standing between you and your dreams is the way you think. The truth is, the way you view money, opportunities, and growth can either limit you or push you toward the life you deserve. In this video, we're breaking down the powerful difference between the rich mindset and the poor mindset, the key to unlocking the life you've always wanted. It's not about luck. It's not about timing. It's about how you think and what you believe is possible for your life. Every decision, every move you make starts in your mind. Today you're going to learn how to change the way you think so that you can take control of your future and start achieving the success you desire. Stay with me through this audiobook, and you will learn the mindset shift that can change everything for you. It's time to step into a new way of thinking and unlock the potential that's always been within you. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Why your mindset shapes your wealth. Success doesn't start with luck, money, or talent. It starts in the mind. The difference between a rich life and a poor one isn't found in your bank account. It's found in your thoughts, your beliefs, and the way you choose to see the world. If you can master your mindset, you can master your wealth. That's the simple truth. The way you think about money, success, and opportunity shapes every decision you make, and every decision shapes your future. Most people don't realize it, but their mindset is the silent force, either driving them forward or holding them back. It's not the job, the economy, or circumstances. It's the thoughts they carry day after day. It's the belief that success is for other people, or that wealth is some mystery that only a few can solve. That's where the problem begins. Because when you believe that success is out of reach, you stop reaching. When you believe that wealth is for the lucky, you stop trying. That belief becomes a wall that blocks every opportunity, every chance, and every moment that could change everything. But here's the good news. That wall isn't real. It's built on thoughts that you can change. You can tear down that wall by shifting your mindset. You can choose to believe that success is possible for you. That wealth is something you can build, not something that just happens. And when you start thinking that way, you open doors that were always there. You just never noticed them. It all starts with how you view challenges. Poor mindsets see obstacles as reasons to stop. They say, it's too hard, or it's impossible, and they turn back. They accept defeat before they've even tried. Rich mindsets see obstacles as opportunities to grow. They ask, how can I figure this out? Or what can I learn from this? And they move forward, even when it's hard. That one shift in thinking makes the difference between staying stuck and breaking through. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself because you thought you couldn't? How many chances have you let pass by because fear told you it wasn't worth it? The truth is, the biggest obstacle isn't out there. It's in here. It's in your thoughts. And if you can change your thoughts, you can change your life. Wealth starts with the belief that you can create it. Not by luck, not by shortcuts, but by learning, growing, and taking action. Poor mindsets wait for the perfect moment. They wait for things to be easier, for luck to show up, for circumstances to change. Rich mindsets understand that the perfect moment is a myth. They know that opportunity is something you create, not something you wait for. And that's why they move. That's why they take risks, even when it's uncomfortable. That's why they fail and get back up, while others stay down. And let me tell you something, failure is not the enemy. Failure is a lesson. Failure is proof that you tried, that you moved, that you were willing to put yourself out there. Poor mindsets fear failure and avoid it at all costs. Rich mindsets welcome failure because they know it's the price of growth. They know that every failure carries a lesson, and every lesson brings them closer to success. Now, here's another truth that separates rich and poor mindsets: the way they see value. Poor mindsets focus on spending money for comfort. They want quick rewards. They think about how to feel good today, even if it means staying broke tomorrow. Rich mindsets focus on investing for growth. They don't think, what will this cost me? They think, what will this give me? They spend on things that build them: books, courses, mentors, experiences. They invest in skills that bring more value to the world, because they understand that the more value you bring, the more wealth you create. And it's not just about money, it's about time. Poor mindsets waste time. They spend hours on things that bring no value, no progress. They say, I don't have time to learn, to build, to grow. But rich mindsets make time. They cut out distractions. They understand that every hour is an investment in their future, and they spend it wisely. Because once time is gone, it's gone. And they know that every second counts. Another difference: the company they keep. Poor mindsets stay in comfort zones. They surround themselves with people who settle, who complain, who make excuses. They stay close to people who think small because it feels safe. But rich mindsets seek out people who challenge them, who inspire them, who push them to think bigger. They understand that who you spend time with shapes who you become. If you're surrounded by small minds, you'll stay small. But if you're surrounded by growth-minded people, you'll be pushed to grow. It's about choices. Every day, you have a choice to feed your mind with information that builds you or breaks you. Poor mindsets choose entertainment. They spend hours watching, scrolling, wasting time. Rich mindsets choose education. They read, they listen, they learn, not because they have to, but because they know that growth is a choice. They know that the right book, the right idea, can open the door to a completely different life. But here's the biggest shift: responsibility. Poor mindsets blame. They say, it's the economy, or it's my boss, or it's my circumstances. Rich mindsets take full responsibility. They say, it's on me. If I want better, I have to be better. If I want more, I have to do more. They don't wait for someone else to change their life. They change it themselves. They understand that personal responsibility is power, and that power creates wealth. Now, you might be thinking, but my situation is hard. You don't know what I'm facing. And you're right. I don't know your exact situation. But I know this: you are not powerless. Your circumstances might be tough, but your mind is stronger. And the minute you decide to take control of your thinking, you start to take control of your life. This isn't about being perfect. It's not about getting it right every time. It's about choosing a different path, one thought at a time. It's about noticing when you're stuck in a poor mindset and choosing to think differently. Choosing to say, I can learn, I can grow, I can build. Because when you start thinking like that, you start acting like that. And when you act like that, you start creating results you never thought were possible. The truth is, every rich person you see started with the same thing you have: a mind. They weren't born knowing how to succeed. They learned, they practiced, they failed, and they kept going, because their mindset told them they could. And that's the mindset you need to build. So ask yourself, what kind of mindset am I feeding today? Am I thinking like someone who wants to stay the same, or someone who wants to grow? Am I focusing on problems, or am I searching for solutions? Am I blaming, or am I taking responsibility? These questions aren't just thoughts. They're the foundation of your future. Because in the end, it's simple. If you can shape your thoughts, you can shape your habits. If you shape your habits, you shape your results. And if you shape your results, you shape your life. It all starts in the mind. And it starts today. Chapter 2. How rich thinkers see opportunity versus how poor thinkers see obstacles. Success belongs to those who can see it, even when it's hiding behind challenges. The truth is, opportunity is always knocking. But whether you hear it or not depends entirely on your mindset. And that's where the biggest divide lies between the rich and the poor. It's not just about who has the most money in their pocket. It's about how they see the world, how they approach problems, and how they react to obstacles. The rich mindset looks at obstacles and thinks, how can I turn this into an opportunity? The poor mindset looks at obstacles and says, this is why I can't succeed. That one difference changes everything. See, the world doesn't hand out success on a silver platter. It hides it behind challenges, risks, and hard work. It's hidden in places where most people don't want to look. That's why it's not about luck. It's about perspective. It's about how you choose to see each moment. Rich thinkers aren't smarter or more talented. They just see things differently. They don't run from problems. They study them. They don't see failure as the end. They see it as a lesson, and they don't avoid the hard road. They choose it because they know that's where growth happens. On the other hand, poor thinkers stay stuck because they focus on what's wrong. They see a problem and say, it's too difficult, or it's too risky. They talk themselves out of action before they've even tried. And the sad part is, most of the limits they face aren't real. They're built in the mind. They're assumptions, fears, and beliefs that stop them from seeing the doors that are already open. If you believe that opportunities are rare, you'll never look for them. But if you believe that opportunities are everywhere, you'll start seeing them in places you never imagined. The difference is perspective. Let me give you an example. Two people can look at the same situation and see completely different things. One person sees an obstacle and stops. The other sees an opportunity to learn, to grow, to find a better way. It's not the situation that's different, it's the mindset. That's why some people rise and some stay stuck, because the rich thinker asks, how can I use this? While the poor thinker asks, why is this happening to me? One question opens doors, the other locks them. And it's not just about big moments, it's about everyday decisions. It's about how you approach your time, your money, your relationships. Poor mindsets are always looking for reasons why something won't work. They focus on the risks, the problems, and the fear. Rich mindsets look for reasons why it will work. They focus on possibilities, solutions, and courage. And that's why they move forward while others stay behind. Imagine this, you're faced with a challenge, and it feels impossible. Most people would quit. But a rich thinker leans in and asks, what can I do about this? How can I turn this around? And that one shift in thinking creates momentum. Because once you start looking for solutions, you find them, you become more creative, more resourceful. You start seeing opportunities in places you once ignored. And that's the secret. Opportunities don't show up for people who aren't looking. They show up for people who expect to find them. But poor thinkers, they don't expect much. They expect life to be unfair. They expect success to be for other people. And that belief becomes a trap. It's like walking around with blinders on, unable to see anything beyond the struggle. But if you take those blinders off, if you open your mind to the possibility that success is within reach, you start seeing options, you start seeing ways forward, you start creating your own luck. And yes, sometimes those opportunities come dressed as hard work. Sometimes they look like failure, sometimes they show up when it feels like the worst time. But rich thinkers know that's exactly when it matters most, because real growth happens when you push through discomfort, when you take action even when you're uncertain, when you keep going even after failure. Poor thinkers see that discomfort and say, "It's not worth it." Rich thinkers see it and say, "This is where I get stronger." And that's why they win. You can't avoid challenges if you want to succeed, but you can change the way you see them. You can choose to see obstacles as stepping stones instead of roadblocks. You can choose to believe that every problem has a solution, even if you haven't found it yet. And you can choose to see every failure as a lesson, a guidepost, a sign that you're one step closer to getting it right. Because the only real failure is giving up. Everything else is just part of the process. And here's something powerful. Rich thinkers don't wait for motivation. They don't wait for things to feel easy. They take action, even when it's hard, even when they're scared. Because they understand that action creates momentum, and momentum creates results. Poor thinkers wait for the perfect moment. They wait for confidence. They wait for a sign. And while they wait, nothing happens. But rich thinkers, they create the moment. They build confidence by doing. They make their own signs by moving forward. That's why they succeed. Now you might be thinking, but it's hard to think like that when everything feels against me. And you're right, it is hard. But that's exactly why it's worth it. Because the minute you choose to think differently, you start creating a different future. You start becoming the kind of person who sees solutions where others see problems. You start building the kind of mindset that attracts success. And over time that shift changes everything. It doesn't mean you'll never struggle. It doesn't mean it'll be easy. But it does mean you'll have the strength to keep going. You'll have the courage to try, to fail, and to try again. And that's the difference that makes the difference. Success isn't about avoiding obstacles. It's about facing them with a mindset that says, "I can figure this out." And the more you practice that, the stronger you become. The more you believe in possibilities, the more possibilities you'll create. The more you expect to find opportunities, the more you'll notice them. And that's how wealth is built, not by luck, but by choosing to see the world in a way that serves you, not limits you. So ask yourself, how do I see my obstacles? Do I see them as excuses to quit, or reasons to grow? Do I look for what's wrong, or do I search for what's possible? Do I let fear decide my future, or do I choose to move forward anyway? Because the answers to those questions will shape your life. The rich thinker isn't someone born with all the answers. They're someone who's learned to ask the right questions. Someone who's learned to face problems with courage instead of fear. Someone who's learned to expect opportunity, even when it's hard to see. And that's a skill you can build, one thought at a time, one decision at a time. Because at the end of the day, it's not the obstacles that define your future. It's the way you choose to see them. Change your perspective, and you change your life. It really is that simple. And it starts right now. Chapter 3. What rich minds do daily that poor minds avoid. Success is not an accident. It's a series of daily choices, habits, and actions that shape who you become and what you achieve. The difference between those who build wealth and those who stay stuck in struggle often comes down to what they do every single day. It's not about huge leaps or grand gestures. It's about the small, consistent steps that stack up over time. Rich minds understand this. They know that success is built in the details of their daily routine. Poor minds, on the other hand, avoid the very actions that could change their lives, thinking they can skip the process and still expect results. But it doesn't work like that. If you want to change your life, you have to change what you do daily. Rich thinkers don't wait for motivation to strike. They build discipline through habits that drive them forward, even when they don't feel like it. They don't ask, "Do I feel like it today?" They say, "What must I do today to get closer to my goals?" They treat each day as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to improve, because they understand that small steps, done consistently, lead to massive results over time. Poor minds avoid these steps. They say, "I'll do it tomorrow," or "I'll wait until I feel ready." But tomorrow turns into next week, and readiness never comes. Time slips away while nothing changes. That's why it's not just about big plans, but about the daily grind that turns those plans into reality. Think about this. Wealthy people read every day. They invest in learning because they know that knowledge compounds just like money does. They're hungry for information, new ideas, strategies, and ways to grow. Poor thinkers avoid learning. They believe they've learned enough. They say, "I'm too busy," or "I don't have time." But the truth is, you either make time to learn, or you make time to struggle. Every minute spent avoiding growth is a minute spent staying stuck. Rich minds ask, "What can I learn today that will make me better tomorrow?" Poor minds say, "I already know enough," and then wonder why nothing improves. And it's not just about reading, it's about action. Rich minds take action every day, even small ones. They make the call, write the plan, take the step. They understand that momentum is built through movement, and success rewards those who take action, not those who sit and wait. Poor minds avoid action. They hesitate, overthink, procrastinate. They wait for certainty, but certainty never comes. And while they wait, opportunities pass them by. The rich mind says, "Let me try and see what happens." The poor mind says, "Let me wait until I'm sure." But by the time certainty comes, the moment is already gone. Discipline is another key. Rich thinkers discipline their habits, their thoughts, and their time. They understand that self-control creates freedom. Freedom of choice, freedom of time, freedom of opportunity. Poor thinkers avoid discipline. They chase comfort. They choose what's easy today and pay for it with regret tomorrow. Rich minds sacrifice comfort for progress. Poor minds sacrifice progress for comfort. And that's why one group builds a future while the other stays stuck in the present. Look at how the wealthy manage their time. They value it. They plan it. They guard it like it's their most valuable asset, because it is. Every hour is an investment. They ask, "Is this moving me forward?" Poor minds waste time. Hours vanish into mindless distractions. They binge, scroll, delay. They say, "I'll get to it later," but later turns into never. Rich minds treat time like gold. Poor minds treat it like it's endless. But once it's gone forever. And the ones who use it wisely are the ones who rise. And let's talk about health. Rich minds know that energy is the fuel for success. They take care of their bodies, their minds, and their emotions. They know that when they feel strong, they can perform strong. They invest in good food, exercise, rest. Poor minds avoid this. They say, "I don't have time to take care of myself," but they pay for it in fatigue, sickness, and burnout. And a tired mind can't build wealth. A weak body can't chase success. Rich minds prioritize health because they know it's the foundation of everything they build. Then there's the habit of reflection. Rich minds take time to reflect, to analyze, to ask, "What did I learn today? What can I do better tomorrow?" They look for lessons in every experience, every failure, every success. Poor minds avoid reflection. They push away discomfort. They don't want to think about mistakes, so they repeat them. They avoid feedback because they fear hearing the truth. But avoiding truth doesn't change it. It only delays it. Rich minds embrace it because they know that growth comes from facing reality, not ignoring it. The wealthy also build relationships daily. They surround themselves with people who inspire, challenge, and elevate them. They understand that environment shapes outcomes. Poor minds avoid this. They stay in comfort zones, surrounded by people who reinforce their limits. They fear outgrowing old relationships, so they hold on to them, even when those relationships pull them down. Rich minds choose their company wisely, because they know that who you spend time with shapes who you become. And perhaps most importantly, rich minds practice gratitude every day. They focus on what's working, what's possible, what's good. They train their minds to see abundance, and that shapes their actions. Poor minds focus on what's missing, what's wrong, what's unfair, and that focus keeps them stuck. Rich minds start the day with thoughts of possibility. Poor minds start the day with thoughts of limitation. And your first thought shapes your next action, and your next action shapes your future. So the question is, what are you doing daily? Are you investing in growth or avoiding it? Are you taking small actions that build momentum, or are you waiting for the perfect moment? Are you guarding your time or wasting it? Are you nurturing your mind and body or neglecting them? Because the answers to those questions will tell you everything you need to know about where your life is headed. Success isn't a mystery. It's a formula of daily habits, choices, and actions. And it's a formula you can start living right now. If you want to change your life, change your days. Don't wait for some magical moment when motivation strikes. Don't wait for clarity, certainty, or perfection. Start doing what needs to be done, even if it's uncomfortable, because comfort doesn't build success. Action does, discipline does, consistency does. It's about choosing growth when it's hard, choosing progress when it's inconvenient, and choosing discipline when it's uncomfortable. That's how rich minds win. That's how success is built. It's not about luck. It's about preparation. And preparation is done in the small choices you make every single day. What you eat, what you read, who you spend time with, how you use your time. Every little choice is shaping the person you're becoming. So don't overlook the small things, because small things add up to big results. Every moment is either moving you closer to success or further away. The question is, which direction are your habits taking you? You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to figure it all out today. But you do have to start. You have to commit to daily habits that support the life you want to build. And it's not easy, but that's why most people don't do it. But you're not most people. You're here because you want more, because you know you're capable of more. So don't let comfort stop you. Don't let excuses win. Choose growth. Choose discipline. Choose action. Start today and never stop. Because the life you want is waiting for you. But it's waiting on the other side of the habits you build right now. Chapter 4. Investing in growth versus spending for comfort. Building a life of wealth and success doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of choices, simple, daily decisions that determine whether you're investing in your growth or spending for temporary comfort. The difference between those who build wealth and those who struggle often comes down to how they handle this one concept: investing versus spending. Rich minds think about the long game. They see every dollar as a seed that can grow into something greater. Poor minds, on the other hand, focus on short-term comfort. They spend to feel good now, without thinking about how it affects their future. And that's why the gap between the two keeps growing. It's not about luck. It's about strategy. It's about discipline. It's about understanding that the habits you choose today shape the life you live tomorrow. A rich thinker looks at money and asks, how can this work for me? How can I make this grow? They think of every dollar as a tool to build something greater. They invest in learning, skills, and opportunities. They put their money into businesses, stocks, or ventures that may take time to grow but will pay off in the long run. Poor thinkers, however, see money as something to be spent. They ask, what can I buy with this? Their focus is on immediate satisfaction, new gadgets, unnecessary luxuries, or experiences that fade as quickly as they came. And while they're enjoying the moment, the rich thinker is planting seeds for the future. It's not that the wealthy don't enjoy life. They do, but they've learned that true enjoyment comes from security, freedom, and knowing that their future is taken care of. They understand that sometimes saying no today means saying yes to bigger, better opportunities tomorrow. Poor thinkers chase comfort, thinking it's happiness, but temporary comfort is not lasting fulfillment. Buying something because it feels good now doesn't mean it will serve you later. In fact, it often does the opposite. It drains the very resources that could have been used to build something lasting. Rich minds are patient. They understand the power of delayed gratification. They don't just look for what feels good now, they look for what will benefit them later. Poor minds struggle with this. They want it now. They say, why wait when I can have it today? And that's the mindset that keeps them stuck. The rich thinker says, if I invest this today, I can have 10 times more in the future. The poor thinker says, I might as well enjoy it now because who knows what tomorrow will bring. But that very attitude is what guarantees that tomorrow won't bring anything better. Think about how the wealthy invest in themselves. They spend on courses, mentors, books, experiences that expand their knowledge and skills. They know that the greatest investment is in personal growth. Poor thinkers see self-investment as unnecessary. They say, why spend money on a course when I can buy something fun? But the truth is, every dollar you invest in learning multiplies your value. And when you increase your value, you increase your ability to earn, to build, to create. Rich minds see this clearly. They understand that growing themselves is the fastest path to growing their wealth. Poor minds miss this. They chase entertainment instead of education. They buy distractions instead of tools. And it's not just about money, it's about time. How you invest your time determines your results just as much as how you invest your money. Rich thinkers invest their time in learning, building, creating. They spend time on things that bring long-term value. Poor thinkers spend their time on comfort, on things that feel good now but offer nothing later. Hours on social media, mindless TV, activities that lead nowhere. The rich thinker says, how can I use my time today to build something better for tomorrow? The poor thinker says, how can I escape today's discomfort? But escaping discomfort only ensures that discomfort shows up stronger later. Now let's talk about choices that seem small but have huge impacts over time. A rich thinker looks at their expenses and asks, is this helping me grow? Poor thinkers avoid that question. They don't track their spending, and when the money runs out, they wonder where it went. Rich minds budget. They save, they plan. Not because they're afraid to spend, but because they understand that control creates freedom. Poor minds spend first and think later, and by the time they think, it's too late. The opportunity to invest is gone. The opportunity to grow has been wasted. And here's the truth. Investing doesn't always feel exciting. Sometimes it feels boring. Sometimes it feels like sacrifice. But it's the sacrifice that builds strength. It's the patience that brings results. Poor minds avoid this. They say, life is short, so I might as well enjoy it now. But rich minds know that life feels longer when you're struggling. Life feels fuller when you're free, and freedom comes from preparation. It comes from making smart choices today that create ease and opportunity tomorrow. Wealthy people also understand risk. But it's not reckless risk. It's calculated. They ask, what's the potential gain? What's the potential loss? Is this worth it? Poor thinkers avoid risk completely, or jump in blindly. They avoid investing because they fear loss, but they don't realize that avoiding risk is its own form of loss. Every day spent avoiding growth is a day that could have been used to build it. Rich thinkers understand that some risk is necessary for progress. They're willing to be uncomfortable now to be secure later. Poor thinkers are only willing to be comfortable now and uncomfortable later. But one way or another, discomfort will come. The question is whether it will be the discomfort of discipline or the discomfort of regret. Even when it comes to relationships, rich minds invest wisely. They spend time with people who challenge them, inspire them, and help them grow. Poor minds spend time in comfort zones, around people who keep them the same. Rich minds seek mentors, networks, people who push them to think bigger. Poor minds avoid these connections, fearing judgment or rejection. But the reality is, your environment shapes you. Your conversations shape your thinking. Who you invest your time with determines who you become. So ask yourself, are you investing in your growth or spending for your comfort? Are you planting seeds for the future or consuming what could have been your foundation? Are you avoiding discomfort today and paying for it tomorrow? Or are you willing to sacrifice comfort now for greater rewards later? These are tough questions, but the answers will shape your life. Because the reality is, the life you dream of isn't built by chance, it's built by choice. By daily habits. By small decisions that either move you closer to wealth or keep you stuck in struggle. And here's the best part. You can start today. You can choose to invest your next hour in learning instead of escaping. You can choose to invest your next dollar in growth instead of spending it on something that fades. You can choose to invest in relationships that elevate you instead of ones that drain you. It's these small decisions that create big results over time. It's these choices that shape the future. The greatest investment you'll ever make is in yourself. In your skills, your knowledge, your growth. In your ability to create, to lead, to build. No one can take that from you. No market can erase it. No loss can destroy it. And the more you invest, the stronger you become. The more you invest, the more freedom you create. The more you invest, the more wealth you build, not just financial wealth, but the wealth of confidence, strength and security. So don't fall for the trap of comfort. Don't spend for today and sacrifice tomorrow. Don't avoid growth because it feels slow or uncomfortable. Every smart choice you make today is an investment in your future. Every sacrifice is a step toward freedom. Every risk is a move toward opportunity. And every single day, you have the power to choose. You have the power to invest. You have the power to build a life that's not defined by struggle, but by strength, by vision, by success. Start today, choose wisely, and watch how those small investments turn into a future you can be proud of. Chapter 5. Why rich minds focus on long-term, poor minds on short-term. The power to shape your future is already in your hands, but most people let it slip through their fingers because they're waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for conditions to be ideal. But the harsh truth is, waiting is the enemy of progress. While you wait, someone else is building, learning, growing, and moving forward. The world doesn't pause while you hesitate. Life doesn't stand still while you second-guess yourself. Success isn't about having the perfect timing. It's about creating momentum with what you have, right where you are. The people who rise, who achieve, who build incredible lives, they don't wait for someone to hand them an opportunity. They create it. They decide that now is the time, even when they don't feel ready. They act, they learn, and they adjust along the way. They know that clarity doesn't come from standing still. It comes from taking action, from moving forward, from making mistakes and learning fast. They understand that hesitation is the thief of dreams. Every moment spent waiting is a moment lost, and every moment lost is progress delayed. But most people are stuck in a cycle of overthinking. They tell themselves stories like, "I'll start when I have more money," or "I'll take action when I feel more confident," or "I'll begin when the timing is right." But confidence doesn't come before action. It comes because of it. You don't feel ready before you start. You feel ready because you start. Readiness is built in the doing, in the discomfort, in the decision to move despite fear. The more you delay, the more you convince yourself that you're not ready. The more you wait, the harder it becomes to begin. And before you know it, days turn into months, and months turn into years, and the dream you once held feels distant and impossible. The truth is, you don't need more time. You need more courage. You don't need perfect conditions. You need to take the first imperfect step. Because every successful person you admire didn't start with certainty. They started with determination. They started knowing they might fail, but they also knew that failing while moving forward is better than standing still and watching life pass them by. They embraced the discomfort. They accepted that mistakes would be made, but they also understood that progress is born in action, not in waiting. Think about the opportunities you've already missed because you were waiting. Think about the dreams you shelved because you told yourself the timing wasn't right. Now ask yourself, what if you had started back then? Where would you be now if you hadn't waited? What would you have already built, already learned, already accomplished? The cost of waiting isn't just lost time, it's lost growth, lost opportunities, and lost experiences that could have transformed your life. Waiting feels safe, but it's an illusion, because while you're waiting, time is moving. Life is moving, and the longer you wait, the more you lose. Action is what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. The action takers know that perfect doesn't exist. They understand that success is messy. It's full of trial and error, wrong turns, and failed attempts. But they also know that every failure brings clarity, every mistake brings experience, and every step forward brings them closer to their goal. They don't see failure as an end. They see it as information, as feedback, as a lesson that sharpens their strategy and strengthens their resolve. And with every lesson they become stronger, wiser, more capable. The ones who wait for perfect timing often find that the perfect moment never comes. The conditions never feel just right. The confidence they hoped for never arrives. And that's when regret sets in. Because deep down, they know they could have moved, they could have acted, they could have tried, but they didn't. And that regret is far heavier than any fear they might have faced in the beginning. Because regret lingers. It stays. It reminds you of what could have been. And that is a weight no one should carry. But here's the good news. No matter how long you've waited, it's never too late to start. The moment you decide to take action, momentum begins to build. And momentum is powerful. It turns small steps into big progress. It transforms uncertainty into clarity. It turns fear into confidence. Because once you start moving, you realize it was never as hard as you imagined. The obstacles aren't as big as you thought. The fear isn't as strong as it seemed. And you start to see that progress isn't about giant leaps. It's about consistent small actions that add up over time. You don't have to be great to start. You just have to start to become great. You don't have to know the entire path. You just need to take the next step, and then the next one. And each step will reveal more. Each action will build your strength, your skills, and your belief in yourself. That's how progress works. It's not about knowing every answer. It's about trusting yourself enough to move forward without them. It's about believing that you can figure it out along the way. Because you can. You're capable of more than you think. You have strength inside you that hasn't even been tested yet. You have ideas, potential, creativity, and resilience that are just waiting to be unlocked. But they'll only reveal themselves when you move. And it's not about speed, it's about consistency. It's about showing up. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's hard, even when you feel like quitting. Because every time you show up, you prove to yourself that you can. You build trust with yourself. You build discipline, and discipline is freedom. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's the key that unlocks growth, success, and fulfillment. Not motivation, not luck. Discipline, the decision to act even when it's hard. The choice to move forward even when you're uncertain. The commitment to keep going, no matter how slow progress feels. You have the power to change your life. But that power means nothing if it isn't used. Potential means nothing if it isn't acted on. Ideas mean nothing if they stay trapped in your mind. Action is the only thing that transforms dreams into reality. And you don't need to know it all. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be willing to take the first step. Willing to make mistakes. Willing to fail and learn and get up again. Willing to trust that every action, no matter how small, is moving you closer to your vision. So stop waiting. Stop overthinking. Stop telling yourself you'll start tomorrow, or next week, or when the timing is better. The timing will never be better than now. And every day you delay is a day you could have been building something great. Start today. Take the first step. Write the first word. Make the first call. Create the first piece. Whatever it is you've been putting off, do it. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Because your future depends on it. The life you want is waiting on the other side of your first step. The dream you have is possible, but it's not going to happen by chance. It's going to happen because you decided to move, because you took action, because you refused to let fear or doubt control you any longer. And once you start, you'll realize the hardest part wasn't the action itself. It was the waiting, the delaying, the thinking, the convincing yourself you weren't ready. But you are ready. You've always been ready. You just needed to decide. Decide now, move now, and build the future that's been waiting for you to claim it. Chapter 6. Why Rich Minds Learn from Failure and Poor Minds Fear. The world is full of people who talk about their dreams, but only a few ever turn those dreams into reality. What separates them from the rest? It's not talent, it's not luck. It's the relentless, unwavering commitment to taking action, no matter how hard or uncomfortable it gets. If you want to make something of your life, it starts with that simple decision to move. Action is what separates the dreamers from the doers. The people who succeed aren't necessarily the ones with the most resources or the perfect plan, They're the ones who just decide to take the first step, even when the path is unclear, even when the road is uncertain. They trust that once they begin, the answers will come, the way will open, and the momentum will carry them forward. People spend so much time talking about what they want to do, but those words don't mean anything until you put them into motion. Dreams are only powerful when they are backed up by action. Without action, they are just wishes. How many times have you had a great idea, a vision of what your life could be, but then done nothing about it? You convinced yourself that one day you'll start, when the time is right. The time was never right. It's never going to be perfect. The perfect moment to start, the perfect moment to take action, doesn't exist. Waiting for that moment is a trap, a lie we tell ourselves to avoid the discomfort of starting something new. Starting is always uncomfortable, always filled with uncertainty, but it's in that discomfort that growth happens. It's in that discomfort that you find the strength to push through, to break through to something better. The most successful people you know didn't wait for a perfect plan. They didn't wait for the world to hand them the perfect opportunity. They didn't wait for someone to tell them they were ready. They simply took action. And in taking that action, they learned. They failed, they adjusted, and they kept going. This is the pattern of success. It's messy, it's imperfect, it's full of trial and error. But they kept moving, and every step they took brought them closer to their dreams. Every step they took built their strength, their knowledge, their ability to handle adversity, and their capacity to push even harder when things got tough. Action doesn't require perfection, it requires persistence. It's not about being perfect when you begin, it's about being committed to improving as you go. When you take action, you learn, and learning is how you get better. No one becomes successful by waiting until they know everything. You'll never know everything. You don't need to know everything. What you need is a mindset that embraces action over hesitation. Every small action you take, no matter how insignificant it may seem, moves you closer to your goals. And one small step leads to another, and eventually those small steps compound into something much bigger than you could have ever imagined. But that only happens if you move, if you keep moving, if you keep taking action. What stops most people isn't the lack of resources, talent, or time. It's the fear of failure. The fear that their efforts will be wasted, that they'll invest time and energy into something that won't work out. But the truth is, failure isn't the end. Failure is a lesson. Failure is the opportunity to learn what doesn't work so that you can find what does. The most successful people you know have failed far more than you can imagine. They've failed publicly, privately, in big ways, in small ways. And each time they failed, they got up and kept moving. Because they knew that failure wasn't permanent, it wasn't something to fear, it was simply part of the process. The only real failure is giving up. As long as you keep moving forward, you haven't failed. As long as you keep trying, you haven't lost. Failure is just feedback. The more you fail, the more you learn. The more you fail, the better you get. Taking action doesn't mean you have to have everything figured out from the start. It means being willing to figure it out along the way. The most successful people aren't necessarily the ones who have all the answers from the beginning. They're the ones who are willing to learn, to adapt, and to keep moving forward, even when they don't have all the answers. The journey of success is not linear. It's messy, unpredictable, and full of surprises. But the one constant in that journey is action. No matter what happens along the way, those who succeed are the ones who keep going. They keep learning, keep adapting, and most importantly, they keep taking action. You've probably heard people say, just follow your passion, or do what you love, and the money will follow. But that's only part of the equation. Following your passion is important, but it's not enough. You have to take action. You have to put in the work. You have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to grind, to hustle, and to keep going, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because here's the reality: success is not instant. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not a one-time event. It's a process, a journey, a series of small decisions to take action again and again, even when the results don't come as quickly as you want. Success is the result of consistent effort, of making the decision to show up every day, even when it feels like you're not making any progress. It's the ability to keep taking action, day after day, month after month, until one day you look up and realize you've made it. What you do today matters. The actions you take today, no matter how small they seem, add up, and in time those actions will compound into something bigger, something more significant. But none of that happens if you don't take action. So stop waiting. Stop telling yourself that you'll start tomorrow, or next week, or when you feel more confident. The time is now. The moment is now. You'll never feel 100% ready, and that's okay. The best way to get ready is to start. The best way to build confidence is to take action. The best way to learn is to do. So get started, right now. Take the first step. Do something, no matter how small, and keep going. Because success isn't a destination, it's a journey, and that journey begins with action. You don't need permission to start. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. It's always now. Every day you wait is a day you could have been building the future you want. So stop waiting for conditions to be perfect. They never will be. But the good news is, you don't need perfection. You need action. You need persistence, and you need the courage to move forward, even when the path isn't clear, because that's how you create your future. That's how you turn your dreams into reality. And that's how you build a life that you're proud of. The time to act is now. So go. Take that first step. Keep moving, and never stop. Your success starts with the action you take today. Chapter 7. How Rich Minds Choose Their Company Wisely. Success is not an event. It's a continuous journey. It's not about one moment of glory. It's about how many times you rise, how many times you choose to get up and keep moving, despite the challenges, despite the doubts, despite the fears. Every successful person you admire didn't get there by waiting for things to happen. They got there by making things happen. They understood that their success would never be handed to them. They knew it would only come through persistence, hard work, and unwavering determination. The key to success is simple, yet powerful. Never stop pushing forward. No matter how difficult it gets, no matter how many obstacles you face, success is earned by those who are relentless in their pursuit. It's easy to look at someone's success and think they had it easier, that they were lucky, or that the path was paved for them. But the truth is, no one ever gets to the top without facing challenges. Success isn't about avoiding failure. It's about learning how to face it, how to use it as fuel to keep going. It's about understanding that failure is a teacher, not an enemy. Every time you fail, you learn, you grow stronger, and you become more resilient. The people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who never failed. They're the ones who refused to give up after every setback. They didn't let failure define them. They let it refine them. Building resilience is the foundation of success. You can't avoid tough times, but you can develop the strength to handle them. Resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. It comes from the small, consistent choices you make each day, from how you respond when things don't go as planned. Life will always throw challenges your way. It's not a matter of if, but when. The secret is to face those challenges with a mindset that refuses to quit. A mindset that understands that every setback is just a setup for a comeback. Resilience isn't about being tough, it's about being persistent, about staying the course when everything inside you wants to quit. In the journey to success, you'll encounter resistance, you'll face self-doubt, you'll question your abilities, you'll wonder if it's all worth it. But here's the truth, everyone experiences these feelings. It's part of the process. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not the absence of fear or doubt, it's the ability to act in spite of them. When you push through the fear, when you keep moving forward despite the uncertainty, that's when you discover your true potential. The real strength lies in your ability to persevere, even when the road ahead looks unclear. This is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful, the ability to keep moving when the going gets tough. Every successful person you look up to has faced challenges. They've all been tested, they've all struggled, they've all faced moments when they thought about giving up. But what made them successful is the simple truth that they didn't quit. They kept going when it felt impossible. They kept taking one step after another, even when they couldn't see the destination. That's the key to success. Consistency. It's the ability to keep pushing forward, even when you don't have all the answers, even when you're tired, even when you're discouraged. Success is about showing up every single day, doing the work and trusting that the results will come. In this journey, you will face times when things don't seem to go your way, when you feel like you're working hard but not making any progress. Those are the moments that test your resolve. Those are the moments that separate the winners from the losers. The losers give up, they quit, they let the frustration win. The winners, they push through, they dig deeper, they keep moving forward, one step at a time. It's not about how fast you go or how easy the path is. It's about your determination to keep going no matter what. It's about your refusal to let anything stop you from reaching your destination. The truth is, success doesn't come from a perfect plan or an easy road. It comes from the relentless drive to keep moving, to keep pushing, to keep working, even when it feels like you're not getting anywhere. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to have everything figured out. All you need is the willingness to keep moving, to keep learning, to keep improving. The people who succeed aren't the ones who have it all figured out. They're the ones who refuse to stop learning, who refuse to stop trying, who refuse to stop moving forward. Life isn't going to hand you anything. You have to go out there and get it. You have to decide that no matter what happens, no matter how many obstacles get in your way, you're going to keep going. You're going to keep working. You're going to keep learning. You're going to keep growing. Success is built on the foundation of your persistence, your resilience, your ability to keep going when everyone else gives up. It's about the quiet moments when no one is watching, when it feels like no one cares but you still keep going. That's what success is made of, those small moments when you choose to keep going, when it would be so easy to quit. And let's be honest, it's not always going to be easy. There will be days when you don't feel like getting out of bed, when you don't feel like doing the work, when you feel like everything is falling apart. Those are the days that matter the most. Those are the days that will define your future. It's when you push through those difficult days that you build the strength to face whatever comes next. It's when you keep going in the face of adversity that you prove to yourself what you're really capable of. The difficult days are where you build your character, your resilience, your strength, so don't be afraid of the tough times. Don't shy away from the challenges. Embrace them, use them as stepping stones, as opportunities to grow stronger. Every time you push through a tough moment, you become more of the person you want to be. You become more resilient, more confident, more capable. And as you keep building that strength, as you keep pushing forward, you'll look back and realize that the challenges you faced were the very things that shaped you, that made you who you are. So keep going, keep fighting, keep pushing forward. Because success is not just about reaching the destination, it's about the person you become in the process. And that person is made through persistence, resilience, and the unwavering decision to never give up. Chapter 8. How rich minds control money and poor minds let money control them. Success isn't built in a day. It's not something that magically appears. It's something you create every single day, piece by piece. You can't take shortcuts when it comes to greatness. Each day, each choice, each action adds up to the life you'll lead. Every single effort you put forth today paves the way for tomorrow's success. It's easy to get distracted by the idea that success comes overnight, but that's a lie. The truth is, the most successful people didn't get there by waiting for luck. They got there by showing up, day after day, doing the work, pushing through the hard times, and refusing to quit when things got tough. Success isn't just about talent or intelligence. It's about discipline, consistency, and perseverance. It's about the daily grind, the willingness to keep pushing when no one else is watching, when the work feels mundane, when you can't see the finish line. Those are the moments that matter the most. It's not in the grand victories or the moments when you're being recognized that you find success. It's in the quiet, often overlooked moments, the early mornings, the late nights, the times when no one else understands why you keep going. Those are the moments that separate the winners from the losers, the people who succeed from those who give up too soon. We live in a world where instant gratification is king. Everyone wants results fast, quick success, quick recognition, quick satisfaction. But that's not how real success works. Real success takes time. It takes years of dedication, of making small decisions every day that move you closer to your goals. No one ever got anywhere by looking for a shortcut or trying to rush the process. The people who are truly successful are the ones who understand that the road to greatness is long, challenging, and filled with obstacles. But they don't let that discourage them. They understand that the journey itself is what builds the character, the resilience, and the strength needed to reach the top. To succeed in life, you have to be willing to sacrifice today for a better tomorrow. This means staying focused on your goals, even when distractions arise, even when the people around you don't understand your vision. It's about choosing to do the work, even when it doesn't feel glamorous, even when it's hard, even when you're exhausted. Success isn't about feeling good all the time. It's about doing what needs to be done, no matter how you feel in the moment. Every sacrifice you make, every tough decision you face, is an investment in your future. It's laying the foundation for the success that will come later on. When you're building something meaningful, you're going to face doubts. You're going to wonder if you're making the right choices, if the sacrifices are worth it, and you will face criticism. People will tell you it's not possible. They'll tell you to give up, that it's too hard. But here's the thing you need to understand. Those people don't see your vision. They don't see what you're capable of. They don't know the sacrifices you've made or the work you've put in. They only see the surface, but you're building something deeper, something that's going to last. Keep going, even when no one believes in you. Keep pushing forward when it feels like you're the only one who can see the potential. Success is often built in the silence, in the moments when no one else is watching, and that's where you must find the strength to continue. It's easy to want to give up when things get tough, when the world feels like it's against you, when the pressure mounts and the challenges seem impossible. But you have to remember this: every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow. Every obstacle is a lesson in disguise. The more difficult the path, the greater the reward. Success isn't about avoiding difficulty, it's about facing it head-on and refusing to back down. The people who succeed are the ones who can take the hits, learn from them, and use that knowledge to come back stronger. They're the ones who keep moving forward, even when they're not sure where the road is taking them. There will be moments when you feel like quitting, when you question everything, when you wonder if it's all worth it. Those are the moments that define you. It's not the easy times that make you who you are. It's the hard times, the challenges, the moments of doubt that force you to dig deep and find the strength to keep going. Success isn't about never falling down. It's about getting back up every time you do. It's about learning how to rise, no matter how many times you're knocked down. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail isn't the absence of failure, it's the willingness to rise after each fall. Success also isn't a straight line. It's not a neat, tidy path that you can simply walk down. There will be detours, setbacks, and times when you feel like you're lost. But that's okay. Every detour, every setback is part of the journey. It's all part of the process. Life doesn't always go according to plan, but that's where the magic happens. It's in those moments of uncertainty that you grow the most. It's when things don't go as expected that you learn who you really are. So don't be afraid to face the challenges that come your way. Embrace them. See them as opportunities to grow, to learn, and to become even stronger than you were before. The key to real, lasting success isn't about focusing on the end result. It's about focusing on the process, on the journey. It's about dedicating yourself to the work every day, regardless of how small the steps feel, regardless of how far you think you are from the end goal. Success is built on consistency, on showing up every day, on doing the work even when no one else notices. The people who achieve greatness are the ones who do the work when it's hard, when no one else is cheering them on, when it feels like nothing is happening. They're the ones who trust the process, who know that the small, consistent efforts will eventually lead to the results they want. Real success doesn't come from shortcuts, from waiting for the right moment, or from hoping for good luck. It comes from showing up, doing the work, and never giving up, no matter how difficult it gets. It's about sticking with it, even when the road ahead seems long and uncertain. The key to success is not in the grand gestures, but in the small actions you take every day. The decisions you make when no one else is watching, the sacrifices you make when no one else understands. It's the persistence, the resilience, and the unwavering commitment to your goals that will carry you to the finish line. So don't stop now, keep going. Every step you take, no matter how small, is getting you closer to the success you deserve. Chapter 9. Why Rich Minds Read and Poor Minds Watch. Greatness is not something you can find at the end of a checklist. It's not something you stumble upon while scrolling through social media or looking for the next quick fix. True greatness is built every single day through deliberate effort, fierce discipline, and unwavering belief in yourself. It's the quiet determination, the unseen hours, the grind that no one else sees, that adds up to the success you will eventually have. If you want to achieve something extraordinary, you have to stop waiting for it to happen and start making it happen. You have to decide right now that you're willing to put in the work, no matter how long it takes, no matter how difficult it seems. The journey to greatness is not a smooth, paved path. It's filled with detours, bumps, and moments when you'll want to throw in the towel. But here's the thing, Greatness doesn't come from avoiding the struggle, it comes from pushing through it. When you hit a wall, when you face adversity, that's when you grow, that's when the transformation happens. Those moments where you feel like quitting are actually the moments that define you. When you choose to keep going in the face of difficulty, you're choosing to build something far more valuable than just success. You're building resilience, character, and the mental toughness to handle whatever life throws at you. It's easy to look at someone who's achieved success and think they had it easy. We all know the stories of people who came from nothing, only to rise to the top. But what's often forgotten is the amount of sacrifice, the sleepless nights, the rejection, and the failures that they faced along the way. It wasn't easy for them either, but they kept going. They didn't let the obstacles define them, they used them as fuel. They didn't wait for permission, and they didn't wait for the perfect moment. They didn't wait for someone to hand them a map that would lead them to success. They went out and created their own map, made their own way, and figured it out as they went. Greatness doesn't come from playing it safe. It doesn't come from taking the easy road. It comes from facing the unknown, from stepping into the uncomfortable, from embracing the uncertainty that comes with growth. When you challenge yourself, when you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, that's when the real magic happens. It's in those moments of discomfort, when you don't know what's going to happen next, that you start to tap into your true potential. The person you are today is not the person you will be tomorrow if you choose to rise to the challenge and push beyond your limits. But here's the thing, nobody can do the work for you. Nobody can show up and make it happen. It's all on you. If you want to build something extraordinary, if you want to become the best version of yourself, you have to take responsibility for your own growth. You have to be willing to put in the work, to show up even when you don't feel like it, and to push through the days when it feels like nothing is working. There are going to be times when you feel like you're giving everything you've got, and nothing is happening. It's easy to get discouraged in those moments, but that's when you have to dig deep and keep going. It's in those moments of persistence that you'll build the habits, the mindset, and the strength you need to succeed. Greatness is about showing up, not just when it's convenient, but when it's hard, when it's uncomfortable, when you feel like the world is against you. It's about choosing to do the work every single day, even when it feels like nobody notices, even when it feels like no one cares. The most successful people aren't necessarily the smartest, the most talented, or the luckiest. They're the ones who are willing to keep showing up when everyone else gives up. They're the ones who keep pushing forward when it feels like nothing is working, when the results aren't there, when it feels like you're stuck in a rut. They understand that success doesn't come from immediate results, it comes from the consistent effort over time. The key to building greatness is consistency. It's about taking small, deliberate actions every single day that move you closer to your goals. Success doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen in a single moment. It happens over time, through the daily choices you make. If you want to get in shape, it's not about hitting the gym once a week and expecting results. It's about showing up every day, doing the work, putting in the effort, and trusting that the results will come. Greatness works the same way. It's the little things, the habits you build, the decisions you make, the actions you take, that will ultimately determine whether or not you achieve your goals. But that doesn't mean the path is easy. There will be moments when it feels like you're doing everything right, and yet you're still not seeing the results you want. Those are the moments when most people quit. They give up when it feels like nothing is changing, when the journey feels long and grueling. But those are the moments that matter the most. Those are the moments when the true test of your character is revealed. It's in those moments of doubt, when you're tempted to quit, that you have to remind yourself why you started. You have to remind yourself that greatness is built through perseverance, through resilience, and through never giving up, even when it's hard. Greatness isn't about being perfect. It's not about getting everything right every time. It's about learning from your mistakes, adjusting your approach, and continuing to move forward. It's about being willing to fail and then getting back up and trying again. Every time you fall, you learn something new. Every time you stumble, you gain a little more wisdom, a little more strength. It's those lessons that will carry you forward on your journey. It's those moments of failure that will make your eventual success even sweeter, because you'll know that you earned it. If you want to build something that lasts, you have to be willing to put in the time, the energy, and the effort. You have to be willing to make the sacrifices, to face the obstacles, to take the risks. Success doesn't come from playing it safe. It comes from pushing the limits, from challenging yourself, from refusing to settle for anything less than your best. You have to be willing to keep going, even when you feel like quitting, even when you feel like you've given everything you have. Greatness isn't about talent or luck. It's about persistence, resilience, and an unshakable belief in yourself. So keep going, keep pushing, keep believing. The journey may be long, but the destination is worth it. And when you get there, you'll know that every step, every sacrifice, and every challenge was worth it. Chapter 10. The mindset shift that changes everything. The journey you're about to embark on isn't going to be easy, and anyone who tells you it will be is lying. But here's the truth that most people won't tell you: the struggle, the pain, the moments when you feel like you're on the edge of breaking. It's all part of the process. If you're going to achieve something truly remarkable, you have to embrace these moments. In fact, you have to run toward them, not away from them. It's through the struggles that you build the foundation for the life you're meant to live. And the moment you understand this, the moment you stop running from challenges, is the moment you unlock a new level of power in your life. Success isn't about avoiding obstacles. It's about learning how to turn them into opportunities. The obstacles you face are there for a reason. They're teaching you something about yourself, about your strength, your resilience, and your ability to adapt. The person you are today, the person who is reading these words, is not the same person you will be in the future if you choose to rise above the challenges in front of you. You have to shift your mindset. You have to understand that every setback is a setup for a comeback. It's easy to feel defeated when things don't go as planned. But if you look closer, you'll see that every difficulty you face is simply preparing you for something bigger, something greater. Most people never reach their full potential because they shy away from the hard work, the tough decisions, and the sacrifices that come with pursuing greatness. It's easy to get distracted, to follow the path of least resistance, but the truth is, nothing truly worthwhile is ever built on comfort. Greatness is built in the trenches, in the daily grind, in the moments when no one is watching, when no one is applauding. It's not the person who shows up when it's easy that makes it to the top. It's the person who shows up when it's hard, when they're tired, when they want to quit, but they keep going anyway. That's the difference between those who dream and those who do. The person who achieves greatness is the one who keeps going when the odds seem stacked against them. They don't let failure define them. They don't let setbacks dictate their future. Instead, they use those challenges as stepping stones, learning and growing stronger with each obstacle. They understand that growth doesn't happen without discomfort. If you're not uncomfortable, if you're not stretching beyond what you thought was possible, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're not truly living. Growth is what makes you stronger. It's what allows you to withstand the pressures that life will throw at you and come out the other side better than you were before. There will be days when you feel like you're giving everything you've got and nothing is changing. Those are the days that will test your character. Those are the days that will either break you or make you stronger. But what you have to remember is that the road to success is never a straight line. It's filled with twists, turns, detours, and roadblocks. The key to getting through it is perseverance. It's the ability to keep going when you don't see immediate results. It's the ability to stay the course even when the world seems to be moving in the opposite direction. You can't wait for things to be perfect before you take action. You have to start, even if it feels like you're not ready, because the truth is, you'll never be fully prepared for what lies ahead. The people who succeed are the ones who understand this truth. Success is not about waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect conditions. It's about taking imperfect action and figuring it out as you go. It's about failing, learning, adjusting, and improving. It's about creating a vision for your life and relentlessly pursuing it, no matter what obstacles arise. If you keep waiting for everything to line up perfectly, you'll never get anywhere. Perfection doesn't exist. Progress does, and progress is what you need to focus on. Each step you take, no matter how small, is progress. And over time, those small steps will add up to massive change. Every successful person has faced obstacles. They've all dealt with adversity, failure, and moments of doubt. What separates those who make it from those who don't is their ability to keep moving forward, even when they don't feel like it. It's their ability to push through the discomfort and take consistent action toward their goals, even when the path is unclear. It's not about knowing everything or having it all figured out. It's about trusting yourself, having the courage to move forward despite the uncertainty, and being willing to learn from your mistakes along the way. So many people talk about success but never actually do what it takes to achieve it. They dream about it, they wish for it, but they never take the necessary steps to make it a reality. If you want to achieve greatness, you have to stop just talking about it. You have to start taking action. You have to get uncomfortable. You have to be willing to do what others aren't willing to do. It's easy to get distracted by the shiny objects, the quick fixes, the easy solutions, but they won't get you where you want to go. The only thing that will get you to the top is hard work, consistency, and resilience. But here's the truth that many people fail to realize. It's not just about the big wins. It's not just about the massive breakthroughs or the moments of glory. It's about the small, everyday actions that you take consistently. Success is built on those tiny habits, the ones that might seem insignificant in the moment, but add up to something monumental over time. If you want to be successful, you need to make these habits a part of your daily life. Whether it's working out, reading, learning, or simply showing up and giving your best effort every day, these small actions compound over time to create massive results. The secret to achieving greatness lies in the power of compound interest. But I'm not talking about money here. I'm talking about the power of small, consistent actions that build on one another to create extraordinary outcomes. If you keep showing up, if you keep doing the work, even when you don't see the results right away, you'll eventually see the impact of those efforts. It's like planting seeds. You might not see the growth immediately, but as long as you keep watering, nurturing, and taking care of your goals, they will eventually grow. You'll look back and realize that every effort, every sacrifice, every small step you took was worth it. Success doesn't come from luck. It comes from taking responsibility for your own life, for your own growth, and for your own success. If you want to be successful, you have to stop waiting for things to happen and start making them happen. You have to take control, trust the process, and believe in yourself even when no one else does. The world will test you, but it's in those tests that you find your true strength. So get up, keep going, keep pushing. Greatness is waiting for you. You just have to do the work to get there.